Let's talk about the takeaway. I've got 3 really good concepts here for you, which should help simplify things and make life a little bit easier at the start of your golf swing. Let's have a look. And now the takeaway should be a pretty simple concept really. The club doesn't really move too far back to start the golf swing. You see really good golfers like Ricky Fowler and Justin Thomas practicing this takeaway at the start of their golf swing religiously. And if we think of the golf swing like a chain, so we've got setup, backswing, top of the backswing, halfway on the downswing, impact, and then so on. The takeaway happens very early on the chain. If we can get this takeaway nailed on, it's going to make life a little bit easier for you in the rest of the golf swing. Now I've got 3 really good concepts here which should help you do that. Let's look at the first one. Now if I was to put my golf club out in front of me with my left hand and I place my right hand out in front and I was going to high five the palm of my left hand, I'd do it. The easiest way for me to do it would be to rotate back and rotate through. So that's one axis. I wouldn't be going up and down because that's 2 axis. You've got an X and a Y. So I'm going rotating on 1 axis. As soon as I start moving my hand around, it makes life a little bit harder for me. If I was to relate that to the golf swing now, so if I go to setup and if I move my hand back and then through, back and then through, that's 1 axis. I'm not taking my hand out and inside, I'm just rotating on 1 axis. Now if I take my setup and I place my right hand roughly 45 degrees down to the floor and I simply swing my left arm into that palm, my takeaway is pretty much nailed. So I'm simply swinging into this palm and getting my takeaway pretty much bang on there. I'm not placing my right hand out in front or too much inside. I'm simply placing it just outside my right foot, about 45 degrees down to the ground, and swinging into that palm and taking my grip. That's concept number 1. Let's look at concept number 2 now. So now if I place my golf club out in front of me around parallel to the floor, and if you can imagine a disc or a brick wall or something where my golf club head is, if I was to return my golf club back to this spot, I'd rotate back and then through. So on the same axis again, so I rotate my hip, my core and my shoulders on the same axis there. Now if I add tilt and do that now, it's the same thing. Rotate hips, core, shoulders, and that's my takeaway, pretty much bang on again. So I'm rotating on the same plane there. I'm not swinging up and then down. If I add tilt, inside that's bad, outside that's bad. I'm rotating on the same axis. And this isn't to say that you can't swing inside and out of what we call, say, a middle plane and still hit the ball well, because there's a lot of examples of guys on tour of doing that and picking up a lot of money and doing well. But you're going to make life a little bit easier for you if you can keep this consistent on the same plane. So the last concept, we're going to use an additional golf ball, and we're going to place this around 6 inches behind our ball that we're hitting. So we're going to take our setup, and our job now is to roll the second golf ball back in a straight line as we take the club away. Let's have a go. So we're going to take our setup and just roll that ball in a pretty straight line if we can, and that's our takeaway, pretty much bang on again. If we draw the ball in again, so 6 inches behind, if we get into the funky position, so the inside, you can see the ball goes back that way. If we drop the ball down again in the same position and we take the club too much on the outside, you push the ball too much out. So it gives us some real good feedback in terms of where this golf club is going. You can even put a basket or something behind the golf ball and try and hit the additional golf ball into it. And this all relates to the golf swing. You can actually hit balls doing this as well. Let's hit a ball now with each concept. So we're going to take our setup. Let's go to concept 1. We're going to put our right hand or trail arm around 45 degrees down to the ground outside our right foot. Swing our left hand into it. That's my takeaway done. And then we can make a small rotation and hit the ball. So not a far distance, but just a clip, so we get a good idea of where this takeaway and how to return back to the golf ball. So concept number 2, which is the golf club parallel to the ground, we're going to rotate using our hips, core and shoulders, and then take the club back. Let's go back down by adding tilt now, and we're going to do the same, hips, core, shoulders. There we go, done. And then make a small rotation and then hit. And now concept number 3, we're going to use the additional golf ball. Place it around 6 inches behind the one that we're hitting. Take our normal setup and we're just going to try and roll it back in a straight line and make a golf swing. So go. There we go. Take away, absolutely nailed. So there's 3 really simple concepts there which should help make life a little bit easier for you in this takeaway to unlock the rest of your golf swing and get you hitting the ball a little bit better. There's a lot of top golfers, like we said, that religiously practice this takeaway, and it's going to make the golf swing a lot simpler for you. Thanks for watching. If there's any other concepts or any other ideas that you'd like me to review or kind of have a look at, then please drop them in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.